Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. So I just did a video yesterday going over the 2025 mayoral election in the city of New York, New York City. However, you may also not know that there is the city of Boston, Massachusetts. They have a mayoral election as well up on November 4th, 2025. So in today's video, I'm going to shed some light on the city of Boston and the 2025 mayoral election in the city. Starting with an article that I found from WCVB, a local news station in Boston. It's the ABC affiliate. It goes over a poll by St. Anselm College, which is based out of New Hampshire, which talks about the mayor election in 2025. The article begins by saying, while most Bostonians believe the nation is on the wrong track, new polling finds that voters are much more optimistic about the future of their city and that the incumbent mayor gets generally higher marks. The data is from the New Hampshire Institute of Politics at St. Anselm College, which conducted online surveys of 564 likely Boston voters between April 23rd and April 25th. So the time this is coming out, it's going to be about 2 weeks or so since the poll was conducted. According to the poll, 72% of respondents believe the nation on the whole is on the wrong track, while only 22% say it's headed in the right direction. For the city, 46% of respondents said they believe it's headed in the right direction, and the poll linked unhappiness among voters to national leadership rather than local leaders. Mayor Michelle Wu, who's the Democratic incumbent mayor of the city of Boston, according to the poll, has an approval rating of 61%. And the poll also found that half of likely voters believe she deserves re-election. Heading into the campaign, incumbent Mayor Michelle Wu has begun to consolidate the support she will need for her re-election efforts, said Neil Levesque, who led the poll. Boston has a young and well-educated and diverse electorate that seems satisfied with Wu's leadership and the overall state of the city. Dissatisfaction is directed elsewhere, and as a consequence, Wu begins her campaign in strong shape. There's only one poll that matters, that is on Election Day, and that is the work that is from every other day leading up to that point, Wu said when asked about the results of the poll. Potential vulnerabilities for Wu in a re-election campaign include the 67% who disapprove of how Boston handles the cost of housing, 66% who disapprove of traffic management, and 57% who disapprove of the city's steps to manage homelessness. Each of those topics are also being attacked by the most notable challenger to Michelle Wu, son of Patriots owner Robert Kraft, Josh Kraft. According to the poll, Kraft leads among voters who disapprove of Boston's policy of not cooperating with federal civil immigration enforcement actions. Wu is a vocal advocate for the policy and a frequent target of criticism from President Donald Trump's administration. Kraft, who dismissed the poll, also leads among Republicans and among voters who are unsatisfied with the city's overall quality of life. He said, quote, "We're not focused on polls right now. It's so early in the cycle, people aren't even paying attention. What we're focused on is the people we're meeting and the unbelievable momentum and positive energy we're feeling." The poll found Wu leads on the three top issues of concern for voters: democracy, economy, and affordable housing. Kraft leads on government spending and taxes. This is why city government matters at a time when everything can feel so hopeless at the national level. When Boston feels like we're under attack on the industries that hold up our economy, on the communities that make up our city, here at the city level and city government, we're getting things done. We're bringing people together, and that it's a joy to be able to do that every day, Wu said. Mayor Wu values political ideology, national politics, and frankly, her political future more than she values getting results for the citizens of Boston, and it shows, Kraft said. Her focus on national politics and the future of her political career has left behind the citizens of Boston. Some numbers the poll shows do approve of Michelle Wu, strongly approve, she has 21%, somewhat 40%, that adds up to 61%. Disapprove, strongly disapprove, 25%, another 12%, somewhat disapprove, that's going to be about 37%. How Boston manages the cost of housing, this is as close to a majority in this poll you're going to get on the disapprove side, where 43% of respondents disapprove of the way Boston is managing the cost of housing. So I believe Boston and Massachusetts have some of the highest property expenditures in the entire country. So it makes not really too much of a surprise these numbers are that high. Somewhat disapprove also 24%. This adds up to about 67% disapprove. Overall, Boston is a sanctuary city. Combined, about 59% support that, whereas combined about 35% say they do not support that. And again, that's from the poll from St. Anselm College between April 23rd and April 25th. So that's sort of the breakdown of where the election is right now. The incumbent mayor, Democrat Michelle Wu, she's running for re-election. She, as I mentioned, is the incumbent mayor, and she's the favorite right now. The most notable challenger to her is Joshua Kraft, one of Robert Kraft's, the owner of the New England Patriots, sons. He recently, I believe, moved to Boston to be able to run for the mayoral election. Kraft has the endorsement of one local official, the former commissioner of the Boston Police Department, William Gross, and 3 labor union organizations. Michelle Wu currently has the endorsement of U.S. Rep. Ayanna Pressley and 2 state senators, Lydia Edwards and Mike Rush, and then many state representatives throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. She also has the endorsement of former MLB player David Ortiz as well. As for the polling that's been done in this race, as the article mentioned, this election, the primary date doesn't even take place till early September. The general election is not till November, so we're still very early in the process for this race. There's been 2 polls conducted. The aforementioned St. Anselm poll from April 23rd, and then the Emerson College poll from back towards the end of February. And starting with the Emerson poll, since that was the oldest of the 2, in that poll, Michelle Wu had 43% of the vote. Josh Kraft was in second place at 29%, with 24% of respondents undecided. In this most recent poll, Michelle Wu has 53.4%, Josh Kraft 21.1%, with 19.5% undecided. So the good news and bad news for Michelle Wu and Josh Kraft. The good news for Michelle Wu is she seems like she has a large support already shored up. And going into the election, if the election were held today, I would fully expect Michelle Wu to win. And the main reason being, in this St. Anselm poll, is that Michelle Wu already has over 50% of the vote. It's possible for the polls to be wrong and for Michelle Wu in the situation to lose, but when you're above 50% of the vote going into Election Day, most like 99% of the time, that candidate is going to win if the polls are so confident the candidate already has above 50%. The good news for Josh Kraft is there is still a large percent that is undecided, and having the last name Kraft in New England, Robert Kraft being the owner of the Patriots, that does give a certain level of high name recognition, where if things got bad in the city of Boston in the next few months or so, and people begin to turn on Michelle Wu, that would likely give Josh Kraft the added benefit of some of that support leaving Wu and going to him. But right now, based on how the poll in St. Anselm said about how people view the city of Boston doing, it looks like Michelle Wu's in a pretty solid position for re-election at this time. And I would bet she wins at very least, probably in a likely Democratic margin of at least 5 to 15%. She could win by more than that when you look back at the 2021 mayoral election. She got 64% to 35.6% in that runoff election. It should also be worth noting, I forgot to mention, the way Massachusetts and its Boston mayoral election works. It's just going to have a primary on September 9th, where the top 2 candidates will advance to the general election in November. And I fully expect it'll be Michelle Wu going up against Josh Kraft. And then from there, it depends on if Josh Kraft is able to get any of the undecided votes to his side and try and take some vote away from Michelle Wu. Because either way, even if the St. Anselm poll was inaccurate and the Emerson poll was correct and Michelle Wu only had 43% instead of 53%, Michelle Wu in this poll still has about a 14% lead over Josh Kraft starting out. Whereas in this recent St. Anselm poll, she has about a 22% lead over Josh Kraft. So Michelle Wu is clearly in the lead right now. She's likely going to win by a very large margin. It's possible the undecided votes do break a little bit for Josh Kraft and those numbers get under 15 points. But for right now, I think Michelle Wu looks like she's in a pretty solid position to win re-election. Hope you enjoyed this video, especially if you're from Boston or Massachusetts or anything. Please leave a comment below. Tell me your thoughts about this race. How do you want this election to go and everything in between on that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to click subscribe, as I post at least 2 new videos every day that you're not going to want to miss. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.